Welcome to Gold Derby. I'm senior editor Denton Davidson here with Sav Miles, the home cook from Gladstone, Alabama, who finished in sixth place on MasterChef season 13, representing the South in the United Taste of America. Sav, you had a great run, but this Hell's Kitchen Takeover episode looked extremely stressful. What was the most difficult part of that day for you, and why do you think the judges ultimately decided to send you home after that?
Honestly, the Hell's Kitchen episode was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my whole life. And that includes exams at Harvard. I would say definitely harder than that. I will say the particular station that I volunteered to be on was a little bit insane. And I think that's what they quote me on in the promo, because I was trying to cook 16 half scallops at one time. And if you know how to cook scallops, right, a whole scallop takes 90 seconds aside. And so a half scallop is about 45 seconds aside. So by the time you finish putting one down, the other one was done. And so it's just this constant rotation of scallops. And I understand, how hot it gets down here in Alabama, but in that kitchen, the heat on that pan, on that stove was just, it got to me. I'll be honest about that. So I definitely can see where I went wrong that day.
You see in the episode moments of you're just saying it's too hot, it's too hot. Like, was it coming off the stove like in your face, or like you were feeling the direct heat off the pans, or what was going on there?
Exactly what you said. So in our demo, when Gordon was demoing the scallops, I asked him how hot should the pan be. He was like, silly question. It has to be as hot as it gets, right? And so we had the pans on full blast. And I think the particular challenge is because we were cooking scallops almost in a clockwise manner, filling them up, you were having to go in and use your hands or like a fork to flip them. And it was so close to the hot pan. I felt like my hands were on fire. If I just, washed my hands in a bunch of habanero peppers or something, it was really, physically painful.
Well, you had some great moments throughout the season. You and Madam Donut won the tag team competition. You had various other great performances. You had to reach the top six. When you look back on the competition as a whole, what was your proudest moment?
I think something that I am really proud of is the fact that my two times in the top or wins were with a team member, were with my partner. And you can ask my boyfriend this, but I think I can get a little bossy in the kitchen. I can be a little controlling. And so I was really proud of myself for these challenges to kind of be able to step back from that and either, follow when I needed to follow, when it made the most sense to follow, or at least to have the communication skills to work with my partner and not be seen as overbearing and bossy and like over controlling to the extent that my other partner would just shut down. So I think being able to work with a team member, which is so critical in an actual restaurant scenario, you're not just cooking by yourself, surprised me in a way, and something that I'm really proud of.
What was it like just to walk in that MasterChef kitchen the very first time when you auditioned for that white apron and meeting the judges? What was that experience like for you?
Oof. I mean, throughout this process, from even just getting the first phone call interview, I never thought that I would continue on, right? And so when I finally made it to the MasterChef kitchen and I saw the lights and I saw, the whole production of it, I mean, it was just like, I felt like I was dreaming. I mean, I never imagined in real life that I would actually be there talking to Gordon Ramsay, talking to Joe Bastianich, talking to Aarón, like these people who I've watched on TV and admired and, really kind of idolized in a way. And there they are standing in front of me. And, just, it's a really just kind of starstruck experience and humbling experience to realize that, I was, qualified enough to just be in their presence. I mean, they're the best of the best. And, I just think it really kind of surprised me that I made it far enough to even just talk to them, that they even tried my food. I mean, I remember thinking at the audition, dang, like I probably won't make it on the cast, but at least I can say that Gordon Ramsay tried my food, which is never something I thought would happen.
And there's this twist that they share with you when you get there that it's regional. So you're split into the various regions of the United States, and you're of course part of the South. What has the reaction been like in Alabama, and what's it been like just watching yourself back on TV? That has to feel a little surreal.
I was so excited to learn that we were doing regions this year because, I mean, I know the South has a lot of issues, but I have so much Southern pride and I've always repped my home. I mean, even going away for college, I made a really intentional decision to move back South, and that was not very popular. But being on the show has really just affirmed my love for the community, just seeing how folks in my hometown across the whole state have like shown up and shown out. I think a lot of people have said that folks from Alabama don't really get a lot of representation on TV, on different shows. And even just like for me to be there and representing my state and my town was like the biggest honor. And folks are just like, I really can't even keep up with all the messages of support from people in my hometown and all across the state and all across the region. So that's just been a little overwhelming. And like, I'm so grateful to everyone who watched and has sent a message of support, because when I go and watch, you know, I am like constantly criticizing myself. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I did this. You know, I think that there's been a lot of talk about my accent. And, you know, even when I saw my audition and heard my audition, I was like, oh my God, like, do I really sound like that? Like, that is so cringe. And like, there have been a lot of comments about my accent, like being exaggerated. And like, that's kind of hurt my feelings in a way, because like, I've always been kind of self-conscious about it. And so to see that, it's like been hard. But then when I get all these other messages of people who are affirming and encouraging and supporting, it really helps kind of overcome all of those insecurities. So I'm really grateful for everyone from my home, from my state, who have been really loving and kind and supportive.
Yeah, you can't pay any attention to the haters on the internet.
Yeah.
It's too much. What you had this, you talked about having a farm.
Mhm.
What's your home life like with that? Are you still doing that? Is your dream to still have this farm to table restaurant? What can we expect from you in the future?
So I do have a farm. However, I'm now living in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Roll Tide. I've not been shy about my love for University of Alabama. I'm in law school now, which is something that I had already applied for to do before the show. But the reason for that is the same as the reason, honestly, the biggest reason that I went on the show is that farms take money. And I did not inherit my farm. I purchased it by myself, and everything I've done has been self-funded. And so, you know, at the point where I was at with the farm, I realized I'm either going to have to get a huge influx of cash here and now, or I'm going to have to find another career that will allow me to work and earn my own money to invest into my business. And so, you know, of course, unfortunately, I did not win the huge influx of cash that MasterChef would have provided, though it did really provide a huge boost to the farm this summer. We did farmers markets and CSAs all summer. But now I'm kind of on this longer, you know, less linear and less direct path towards my ultimate goal, which is still to have the farm to table restaurant and to have the farm. So my brother's looking after the farm now that, you know, we're here in Tuscaloosa, but it's actually a good thing because 3 years will allow us, with the kind of farming that we do, which is regenerative agriculture, to really work on restoring our soil and to work on building new plots slowly, which is the kind of sustainable approach that we have always wanted to take. So this is like, even though my life is kind of bifurcated and I'm no longer directly working on the farm, being a lawyer will allow me to have the capital that is so important to invest in a successful business, which would be both the farm and having the restaurant, which would connect my community with the farm's products through really delicious meals.
When you think back on the competition as a whole, it's so emotional every time people were leaving. We saw tears many times as people left, including yourself and others. What was the bond that you had with these other contestants? What was it like meeting them, and what made it so hard for everyone to say goodbye?
Oh my gosh. The bond that we had with one another was like beyond just like getting to meet the judges, the bond with the contestants was by far and away the best part of the show. I mean, it's like somewhat of a traumatic experience. Like it's really wonderful, but also like can be kind of painful and difficult. And so we trauma bonded a little bit, and like we're able to like process all of the screaming and yelling that sometimes happened, and all of the just sheer difficulty of some of the challenges. But I think just, I mean, living with people for 2 months, you know, we're not allowed to leave the third floor of the hotel for COVID reasons. We're all kind of like for her first year of college, honestly, like we're all kind of in the same dorm, and we're going through this stuff together, and we're competing against one another, but it never felt like we almost felt like we were competing against ourselves in a way. And so, you know, regardless of what the TV may show in terms of interpersonal drama, I feel like we really became such fast friends. I mean, there's very few people I feel comfortable singing karaoke in front of, but like I did in front of the entire cast, and like they know how bad my singing voice is now, but I don't care because we're besties and we still talk and we still chat like on a daily basis. So I'm so grateful to that community that our season was able to form, because it's hard to kind of form friends as an adult. And I feel like this has been a really great opportunity at the very end to meet people who are not only good friends, but role models who have actually accomplished kind of dreams that I want to accomplish one day, who I can learn from and hopefully, you know, teach something at some point too.
Tell people watching or fans of the show how they can follow your journey. Are you sharing recipes or food, like whatever you want to share or get out there? How can people follow you?
Absolutely. So my Instagram is Sav_in the Pines. In the Pines is the name of my farm. And there I post a lot of farm content, and I'm working now that I'm a little bit away from the farm to do more recipe content, videos of different dishes that we create. I mean, here I'm cooking dinner every single night, and I'm making something good every night. So, you know, might as well post and share. I get a little like anxious about posting things, so sometimes I'll record stuff and not post it, but I'm trying to really post more. So stay on the lookout for that. I'm definitely, I filmed something for MD for her fundraiser for Hawaii and the fire victims there. So I'll be posting some menopause, which is, I hope how you say it, probably today or tomorrow.
All right. Well, that sounds great. We look forward to that. Congratulations on making the top 6 on MasterChef. And it was fun to watch the whole season. And thanks for chatting with Gold Derby today.
Thank you. Thanks for taking the time.